Mining magnate Coy LaHood is launching a war of intimidation against independent prospectors and their families in the Old West, outside of LaHood, California in Carbon Canyon. One of the targets is Hull Barrett, who is in a romantic relationship with Sarah Wheeler. Megan, Sarah's teenage daughter, begs for a miracle as she waits for LaHood to save her after a group of his men attack the mining camp and kill her dog. Not long afterward, a man enters Carbon Canyon while riding a pale horse. Four of LaHood's men harass and attack Hull as he travels to town to get supplies, but the stranger steps in and easily fends them off with the handle of an axe. Thankfully, Hull extends an invitation to supper to his rescuer. As the stranger is getting ready, Hull discovers what look to be 6 bullet holes on his back. The stranger is addressed as Preacher after showing up at the dinner table dressed in a clerical collar. Joshua, the son of Coy LaHood, tries to frighten the Preacher away with a massive workman called Club. But Preacher hits Club in the groin with a sledgehammer blow, rendering him inoperable. After learning of the Preacher's arrival upon his return from Sacramento, Coy makes a failed attempt to bribe him before threatening him. Next, on Preacher's advice, LaHood gives the miners $1,000 for each claim as long as they leave within a day. If they don't comply, LaHood claims he's going to employ a dishonest marshal named Stockburn to get rid of them. Even after Preacher alerted them about Stockburn, the miners finally turn down LaHood's offer. Megan tells Preacher that she loves him, but he politely rejects her. Megan believes with fury that Preacher truly has feelings for Sarah. After leaving Carbon Canyon, Preacher makes a stop at a Wells Fargo bank in a different town. He takes off his clerical collar and takes 2 firearms out of a security box at the bank. Because LaHood's soldiers have dammed the creek, the miners are forced to search for a dry bed. Before attempting to rape Megan, Joshua shows her the blasting operation when she rides into LaHood's camp. Riding up on a horse, Preacher disarms Joshua before shooting him in the hand. In LaHood, Stockburn and his deputies show up. Stockburn is startled when Coy gives him a basic description of the Preacher since the man Coy is describing is deceased. One of the miners, Spider Conway, who used to be Coy's partner, finds a big gold nugget in the dry creek bed. He rides into town with his adolescent boys and yells obscenities at LaHood while intoxicated. After shooting Spider in the head, Stockburn and his deputies gun him down. In a message, Stockburn requests that Preacher see him in town the next morning. Despite her feelings for Preacher, Sarah begs him not to leave and declares she would wed Hull. The next day, Preacher and Hull use dynamite to blow up LaHood's mining facility. Scaring off Hull's horse, Preacher rides into town by himself in an attempt to dissuade Hull from following him. He kills every one of LaHood's men who attacks him in the ensuing gunfight, with the exception of 2 who flee. Then he murders all 6 of Stockburn's deputies, one by one. Before Stockburn gets shot 6 times in the chest during the climactic shootout, he recognizes Preacher in shock and sustains 6 exit wounds on his back that resemble Preacher's wounds. At last, Preacher shoots him in the head to end his life. LaHood, observing from his office, lifts his rifle to shoot the Preacher, but Hull, who had walked all the way into town, shoots LaHood dead. The Preacher gives Hull a nod before riding off into the snow-covered mountains. When Megan gets there, she yells out her gratitude and love for Preacher as he rides out.